And welcome back to Let's Play Ys, Book 1 and 2. Last time, we opened up the path to the two goddess statues, but we're lacking the pendants to actually utilize them right now. And the first pendant we're looking for, well, to actually find that, first we have to go to the Eastern Canal. Now, the Eastern Canal is by the conference room. It's towards the northeast of the conference room. So we've got a little bit of a walk back there, but not too bad. Solomon Shrine is going a lot more smoothly than I was anticipating. When I first played this, no joke, like 6 hours did it take me to beat this stupid dungeon. It's very confusing on your first time through. Once you actually know where you have to go and what order you have to do things in, it's not so bad, because while the paths are winding and easy to get lost on, if you know the correct ways to go, it's actually not too difficult to get to the locations you need to be. But the whole place is laid out in just a very confusing way. Now, I know what you're thinking. If there's an eastern canal and there's a western canal, well, if it's divided into west, middle, and east, then there should be a middle canal. And you're right, but we actually can't get to the middle canal yet. Not until we actually access the eastern canal and drain the water. Well, okay, we don't drain the water in the eastern canal. I've mentioned that we have to drain the water eventually, but we don't exactly know how to do that yet. The drainage room for the canals is actually is behind that sea dragon door that we saw that we couldn't get to. Also, the Eastern Canal is actually a very embarrassing gaffe on my part when I first played this game. I, did several laps over Solomon Shrine, never noticed the path to this locked door, and I had to look at the guide, and I felt so stupid when I realized I had missed this path. But yeah, behind the sea dragon door is the way to drain the water, and once we drain the water, not only can we explore the canals more thoroughly, we can actually get between different sections of the canals within the canals themselves. Now, in the Eastern Canal, there's a specific thing we're looking for at the moment. I'm going to try and find it as quickly as possible, but I don't exactly remember where it is. Alright, here's a treasure. Ah, the silver pendant. Okay, that took care of that. That was surprisingly quick. Actually, that's... Okay, I must have misremembered things. I thought we had to drain the water before we get the silver pendant, but apparently not. Yeah, actually, I think that's the only thing we need to get in here right now. The other thing I was thinking of must be in the middle part of the canal. Sorry, the Solomon Shrine is just so big and there's so much to it, it's easy to forget what order you actually have to do things in. I've been lucky so far, and I've actually been remembering the things pretty well, but there was just one thing that I kind of forgot. Well, with the silver pendant, we can now access a new part of the middle shrine. I suppose it would be faster to just warp back to Ramia Village and go through the front gate, but I do want to get a little gold along the way. Need all I can get to get that life drop, you know? Now, most of the enemies around here drop about 100 gold, which is pretty good compared to what we've been getting for most of the game, but everything is just so expensive at this point that it still takes quite a bit of farming to actually get enough to get what you want. Now, the enemies around here are dying pretty quickly to me, and you're probably wondering if it's really necessary to do any more grinding after this point, since I'm dominating everything pretty well. Also, that's the Middle Eastern part of the shrine. I forget if we actually have anything that we need to do there. There might be a treasure there that I've missed before, but I don't recall if you ever actually have to explore the underside of the Middle Eastern part of the shrine. Well, that is something for you to ponder at home, viewers, and for me to figure out I've totally forgotten something there later. I'm kind of excited to see what the life drop does. My theory is that if you die, it revives you, which would be pretty nice, but I could just look it up and find out what it does, but I'm kind of curious to find out on my own. Anyways, like I said, you might think it's not really necessary to do the grinding because I'm killing everything so thoroughly at this point, but the reason I want to do it is because the final boss is actually really difficult. It took me like a couple dozen tries on my first playthrough to beat him, and I don't really want to subject myself or potentially the viewer to that. So I actually want to do some very specific grinding to get a point where every fixed experience gain at that point would get me to the maximum level. Anyways, to use the silver pendant, we use the left statue specifically. There's actually a golden pendant. They mentioned that there's 2 pendants, and we'll use that to get through the statue on the right. And I am just so thankful to have the Cape of the Holy Spirit, because you would not imagine how frustrating it is to get through the game when your only option is for healing is a single herb that you always have to go back to the first village to restock on. I don't know why they made such a useful item so hard to find, but they did. I guess they were just trying to be cruel there. We've also gotten into a new enemy biome, as you've seen. These give pretty good experience, but like I said, there's a very specific grinding spot that I want to utilize towards the end of the game, which we're actually closing in on pretty soon. We've still got a little bit of a ways to go, but it's not too far off. Actually, if I remember right, I just want to use the transform magic, because I think these guys actually tell something kind of important. Get over here. Talk to me. Let's see, that guy doesn't have anything to say. I know one enemy mentioned something that's kind of important. No, it's not over here. We're looking to get into the middle canal, and I think that's actually pretty close to the entrance, but, well, I'm having trouble finding it right now. I do definitely know, though, that there's one enemy that we can talk to that does tell us something relatively important. Alright, let's go through here. Oh my... Everything just looks the same in this place. It's so easy to get lost. I genuinely don't know where I got here from. Okay, there we go. We can go through this. It's really hard to sometimes tell what a path is and what isn't a path. This guy's just mourning the death of his comrades that we killed. Adol is, here we go. Alright, so Keith is in the shrine, so we want to keep an eye out for him. Yeah, Adol at this point has killed quite a few monsters. Also, now I realize why I always get confused on whether it's pronounced Adol or Adol. In this game, they say Adol, but in later games, they pronounce it Adol. I guess they couldn't really decide on what they wanted to pronounce it. I mean, it sounds closer to a real name than Dogi does, but I guess it's not exactly one that most people have ever heard before this game. I just want to apologize if you hear any music in the background. My brother is practicing with his band right now. I mean, I could go to tell them to shut up, but that wouldn't really be fair to them. Not too bad, honestly. They practice pretty frequently, and their effort is shown for it. Hopefully I'm getting to the middle canal soon. Hopefully this is taking me on the right path. Once we drain the... oh, here. This is actually important, so let's transform again. See if I can't get the trigger again. Oh, okay, so we can just talk to them. But yeah, we're on the trail of Keith now, and Keith actually has something important for us. The hitbox on Fireball is really weird, and I'm not exactly sure how its properties work. Sometimes it travels through stuff, sometimes it doesn't. There's a master key to go through here. And we get the first piece of battle equipment, the battle shield. I'll always take an armor upgrade. Actually, now that I think about it, I never actually found the battle shield in my last playthrough, or the battle armor. I didn't find one of those items. I think it was the battle shield that I never found, and I just missed it here, because once we talk to Keith, we actually never have to come back to the this part of the shrine, since we'll be able to access the waterways independent, or access the canals independent of actually going through their entrances in the shrine parts. The reason for that is because Keith has the key for the Sea Dragon door. Man, I am just wandering around in circles here. Oh, well, at least I have plenty to talk about. I always find it awkward when you just run out of things to say for a given area. Granted, it would be nice if I could just find where I was trying to go. But now that we've passed those monsters who were discussing Keith, we are actually closing in on where we need to be. I think over here? Okay, hopefully this is it. I better talk to this guy. Yeah, they don't think anything of you transforming right in front of them. Alright, here we go. Well, I'm afraid I can't let you do that, because Keith is my pal. Or at least he helped Tarf. That's good enough for me. Okay, never mind. I've killed plenty of guards who look just like that one on the way here. I don't know why the game is so picky about letting me kill that one. But, Keith is, I think, towards the far right of this canal. Once we talk to Keith, we'll just warp back to the Thieves' hideout. And this is where I entered, isn't it? Yeah, that checkpoint is actually really nice. They did at least have a little bit of mercy when designing this area. I'm glad that they put in the warp checkpoints. The return spell when you're on your first playthrough is easily one of the more useful spells after the fire spells, because you're going to be warping back to the town areas a lot. It's just a very convenient thing to have, especially compared to how impractical the wing was in Ys 1. Okay, can't get through here. I feel like such a broken record just complaining about how everything looks the same, but it really is a big problem, because it's just so hard to remember what areas you've been to, which you haven't, and where you actually need to go, because it's so hard to differentiate everything. And we found him! Tarf? Huh. I wonder why he backtracked all, or I guess forward tracked all the way to Ramia Village.
I am Keith. I heard your voice when I was locked in the lava prison. I was spotted by a guard and chased, so I decided the safest thing to do was to hang out here until the coast was clear. If you want to get to the inner courtyard of the palace, then you must go through this water canal. I have the key to the water control room. Close the water gates and dam the canal. Then you can make your way up to the inner courtyard.
And Keith has an equally wimpy voice to go with his kind of unthreatening name. This guy really a demon? Well, whatever the case, he gives us the water canal key. We can also go back and talk to Tarf in Ramia Village, but we don't need to do that right away. Well, actually, I may as well do it. I'm warping anyway. It's a little unnecessary MP expenditure, but I don't really care. Hey Tarf, what's up? Dark Robe, huh? Well, we know it's not Dark Fact, because we killed him. It could possibly be Dallas. It probably was Dallas. Alright, let's warp to the runway hideout. This is the most effective way to get back to the water control room. Don't forget to equip the fire spell. And now that we're back in an area where all the enemies are really wimpy compared to how I am, I can just... Okay, maybe not, but... Well, they're not as threatening as they could have been. Yeah, it's just kind of funny how, like... I guess it makes sense that you can roll over the monsters way more easily in Ys 1 compared to this game, but you never really get as strong as you did in Ys 1 as you eventually become in Ys 2. So, I don't know if it'll be coming up towards the end of this video, because that might be a bit too far into the game for me to feel comfortable, like, making a whole video to reach that point. But I guess I'll explain the reasoning for my grinding plan later on. Basically, the final boss of this game is actually really, really difficult. Ooh, experience boost, nice. And it took me tons of tries, but the problem is that once you hit level 60, everything gives you pathetic experience. The diminishing returns just kicks in too badly, and everything is really weak compared to how you are. So I was just getting no experience at that point, so leveling up at that point would have been really tedious. So my plan is, if I get to level 60, before I enter the final areas of the games where I still have some predetermined experience gains from like bosses and stuff, if I get to level 60 before that point, there should be enough experience gain there that I should be able to get to level 62, which is the level cap, before I get to the final boss, and he'll be a lot easier to handle. The best way I can describe the final boss of Ys 2 is that he's dark fact, jacked up, all crazy-like. It's a very similar boss, but not quite the same. But he is as equally annoying if you're under-leveled. Now, we're just walking through the drained canalways. We noticed that there was a chest in the earlier areas, trying to reach that. We can also walk through these drainage areas to get to other parts of the canalway. Let's see. If I go through here, it'll take me down to here. And there's the chest. Alright, let's grab that real quick. And we get the battle armor! Yeah, it was the battle shield I missed last time, because I got the sword and I got the battle armor, but I didn't get the shield. I actually spent quite a bit of time looking for the battle shield, because I assumed it was in the canal, but no, it was in that chest back in the middle part of the shrine. Like I said, you never really have a reason to go back there, so it just never occurred to me. Now what I'm looking for is one of the drainage areas that'll lead me into the other parts of the canal. I believe the drainage area from here actually takes us directly to the western part of the canal. It's a bit mazy in the drained areas, because obviously you run into blocked off paths more often, and there isn't always a staircase you can take to get back onto the main area. Yeah, I'm trying to remember where it was. I think there was a staircase that leads directly into it, so I should probably stay on the main area to get to it. Okay, so that was where the chest was. Go away. Okay, I think this leads to it. Okay, I was right, but... Okay, this is the stairs over there. Want to be around on the other side to get to it. Sorry, you're gonna have to bear with me here. Okay. And... I'm really confused on how to get there. Okay, let's see. What would be the most effective way to get back to the western canal? I'm just gonna look again real quick, and if I can't find it this time, then I'll just warp back. If I warp to Ramia Village, I can just enter the shrine from there, go to the eastern part, and get into the eastern canal. Weird that I can't remember quite how to do this. Oof. I always hate getting lost, because it's just really embarrassing to do so. Yeah, I'm just gonna cut my losses here, and we're gonna warp back. Cuts down on a little bit of the walking, at least. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna... The video's been going on for a while. Sorry for wasting your time there. We'll just cut it here, and when I come back next time, we'll be in the Eastern Canal in the drained areas. So, sorry about that whole runabout at the end there, but I hope you enjoyed watching, and please, have a nice day. I hope to see you next time.